Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Charles in Charge Cowboys Sports Report. It's November 8th, Hump Day, Wednesday, about 10:40 Central Time, my time, PM, of course. Sometimes the only time I can cut videos is late in the day. This won't be a long video. This will be just our odds. Basically, of right now, we're the top 5 teams in the NFC stand, the remaining schedules, and our odds of winning the division, let alone getting a top seed, that being a 1 or 2 seed. If y'all are watching this episode, guys, channel's still new, young, and growing. If y'all have not subscribed, I implore y'all hit that red subscribe button. It is free. It costs y'all nothing, guys. It's a free investment on y'all's part. When I hit 500, my first goal in 1,000. Once I hit 1,000, this show will take off exponentially. I'll be able to start putting back into it with microphone, soundbite, studio equipment, computer just for this, for film and graphics, and a call-in line for live shows whenever I'm able to start doing successful live shows, when I have enough people subscribe to where I've got a house full, instead of doing a live show with 10 people, at least get like 100 people in there, but I will have that call-in line. I've got some quick, interesting things to get into. But real quick, this seems to work for Mike Fisher. I don't have his bell. So on the count of 3, guys, if you have not subscribed, I implore you, hit that red subscribe button. Y'all are my brothers and sisters that bleed the blue, the same blood I do, blue and silver. I cannot reach the heights I'm trying to reach without y'all's help. I've got 30 years with this team, played my entire youth. Apologize for that. Student of the game my entire life, and I live and die with every Cowboy game. I mean, for real. So on the count of 3, guys, if you have not subscribed, I guarantee you will not be disappointed by making this choice, by pressing this free red subscribe button. On the count of 3, let's do it in unison, guys. 1, 2, 3, subscribe. Boom, if you did it, you're a real one, and I love you for it. You will be reimbursed tenfold, I guarantee you. And like Fish says, helps beat the algorithms, basically get your video viewed more. If we can hit that like button, guys, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, boom, like. If you did it, you're a real one, and I love you for it. Last thing, I'm seeing smaller content creators with iPhones. They can edit. I really don't think I can edit with my Galaxy. They just have their Cash App name on the bottom of the screen. I have mine in the chats. It's halfway through the season. No donations. If people actually start to donate the second half of the season and donate for real, like for real, the top 3 prizes are the best prizes that any channel out there can even come close to. The top donator will get playoff tickets, maximum 3 persons, 50-yard line, medium deck, home or away, doesn't matter. Second place will be 2 jerseys of your choice in any way, shape, or form. Third place, an Emmitt Smith Rookie of the Year card, possibly autographed by that time. And if you win second place and you'd rather have the rookie Emmitt Smith card opposed to the 2 jerseys, that's up to you because you have rank. If y'all help build this channel and prizes, donations are better than expected on the back half of the season, then prizes 2 and 3 will be bigger at the end of week 18 at Washington. If y'all do donate, all proceeds will go to building this channel. Every dime will go to a piece of equipment for this channel, so I can have a studio set up in our new house, in my new man cave studio room. One thing at a time, guys. But I implore you to do that, because this show in time will be a show that y'all will look forward to watching. Alright. So, the reason why that game against Philly at Philly was so important is because if we pull that out at the 6-yard line, 27 seconds left, if we pull that game out, if we don't get that false start, and we run a play from the 6 and punch it in on that first play. Say it takes 5 seconds. We got 22 seconds left. We probably go for 2 to make it a 3-point game. Assume we don't make it, it's a 1-point game. Philly gets the ball with 22 seconds left and no timeouts. Chances of them getting field goal range, very slim, in my opinion. Especially with us pinning our ears back, getting after Hurts. But instead of going to 6-10 and then dropping to 7-2, us going to 6-2 and then dropping to 7-2, that would have made the division completely wide open. But now we're 5-3, they're 8-1. Officially 2 games back, right? So the next 5 of the schedule, 4 of our next 5 are at home. We have won 11 straight at home, I believe. After this 4 out of 5 game stretch at home, we will have won 15 straight at home. I believe that with every fiber it might be November 12th, at home we get the Giants, 325. I believe we win in dominating fashion. November 19th, at Carolina at noon. One of our few noon games. I believe we take care of them with no problem. Then a quick turnaround 4 days later, home against Washington. That game might be tight for the first quarter and a half. And then by halftime, by the third quarter, we'll pull away. It won't be no thing. Then a week later from that, Thursday Night Football on Amazon, we're at home against Seattle. I know Seattle is 5-3, just like we are. They're a very, very young team. JSN, Witherspoon, Charbonnet, the edge rusher they got really good rookies. Gino's a good quarterback. Pete Carroll's a good head coach, but I believe we are head and shoulders above Seattle. I believe the next 4 games we win. And I don't think any of them will be closer down to the wire. We're 5-3. After November 30th game against Seattle, I believe we'll be 9-3. Giving us 10 days to prepare for Philly on Sunday night at home. That gives us the advantage here also. We have a long week to prepare for the Eagles. Now the Eagles, next 5. As we know, they have their bye this week. To get healthy, Dallas Goedert has a fractured arm. They expect him to be back for the end of the season. I don't mean if that means the end of the regular season or for the playoffs. But that's a big blow as it is. Because their defense is suspect against any offense. Any offense, even the Patriots offense, gave that defense a headache. So with the defense being as porous as it is, and them losing one of their top weapons, Dallas Goedert was a monster over the middle. Him being out, indefinitely going on IR, is big. Now after the bye, they open up at Kansas City, who is 7-2, who is also on a bye. They will play Monday night, week 11. Kansas City's defense is allowing 16 points a game. And the way Patrick Mahomes carves up the defense, even though he doesn't have a number 1, he has a bunch of number 3s and Travis Kelce. Last year in the Super Bowl, his best receiver besides Kelce was Juju Smith-Schuster. Very confident. Kansas City starts to play their best ball down the stretch that Kansas City's going to put up 35 or more on that defense. And Philly will not be able to keep up. I see them dropping that game at Kansas City. Now, the week after, when Buffalo comes to town, who is 5-4 right now. They're just too mistake prone, too up and down. I would love to see Buffalo beat them, but I think Philly takes that game. Which takes us to December 3rd, the rematch of the NFC Championship game. San Fran at Philly. I believe San Fran, by that time, even if they lose to Jacksonville this weekend, San Fran has Bucks after that, a get-right game, and then Seattle after that. So they can lose this weekend against Jacksonville and then reel off 2 in a row. Start feeling good about themselves going into Philly. I believe Philly can lose against San Francisco. Truly do. In order for us to win this division, we need the Eagles to drop 2 of the next 3 games that they play. Not 1, but 2. Because if they just drop 1 between Kansas City, Buffalo, and San Fran, if they just drop 1 and they go to 10-2, and December 10th, they come in our house, we're 9-3. And we beat them. We both go to 10-3. We're basically tied for the division lead. Nobody's ahead of, at that point in time, being that we have the Giants, Washington, Philadelphia will still be first place in the division. Because even if we have the same division record after that game, and we're both 10-3, what haunts us is the conference record. Philly's conference record is better than ours. Even if their loss is to San Fran, the NFC team, that'll just give them 1 NFC loss, which I think if they lose 1 of the 3 games, it'll be against Kansas City. And that'll be 2 AFC losses. All 3 of our losses came from the NFC. Arizona, San Fran, Philly. That's bad. That's the most divisional losses between San Fran, Philly, Dallas, Seattle, and Detroit. So the only way for us to beat the Eagles to win the division, when it comes down to it, is to have a better record. Unless, like I said, they lose to Kansas City, they beat Buffalo, they lose to San Fran, and then they lose to us. That would happen. That would be 9-3 teams, 2 9-3 teams playing December 10th. And then the winner going to 10-3, and the loser going to 9-4, and the winner being in the sole position of first place. And right after that game, Philly would be going to Seattle, and we will be going to Buffalo. Seattle 5-3, Buffalo 5-4. I know Buffalo's cold. It's in December, but I think we're a better team than Buffalo. Buffalo has been too erratic. And Josh Allen has been a turnover machine. Defense travels, and we don't play bad in the cold. We never really have. In the Des Carter game, it was freezing in Green Bay that day. But we came out to play. I know different quarterback, different receiver, different regime. San Fran has the Jags on the road. If they were to drop that and go to 5-4, that would be a blessing. Then they got the Bucks at home and then at Seattle. If they win those 2, then 5-4 becomes 6-4, 7-4. 7-4 going into Philadelphia, wanting to win the division. I like, and if they're fully healthy, Debo's there, Trent Williams is there. I think San Fran can stick it to Philadelphia. So we want to root for Kansas City, Buffalo, and the Niners. 2 out of the 3 teams to drop Philly, if not all 3, which I doubt, but 2 of the 3 to drop Philly after the bye week. And us to handle our business the next 4 games. If that happens, then we will have the opportunity to beat Philadelphia at home and gain sole possession of the NFC East at 10-3 and them at 9-4. And then our little gauntlet will start as we will go to Buffalo and to Miami and at home against Detroit. The only game of those 3 that'll probably give us the most fits will be at Miami because of that speed they have on defense. So to combat that, we'll have to have a offensive game. Long drives, 10, 15 plays, 7, 8 minute drives. Keep that offense off the field. Neutralize the cheetah, which how do you do that? And if Jalen Waddle's healthy and playing, if Teron Armstead and Isaiah Wynn and Connor Williams are healthy and playing, and Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard are playing, now that's a ball club right there. Philly got lucky playing in Miami without all-pro left tackle Teron Armstead. Isaiah Wynn going out right in the first quarter, and they're starting center Connor Williams out. And their 2 all-pro corners, Ramsey and Howard, out, who could have covered Brown and Smith. If those guys play, I don't think Philly wins that game. Because Miami was going in to tie it at 24. And Tua just throws a bad lobbed pass to where Darius Slade makes an easy interception. Detroit has the easiest schedule of them all. They are 6-2. They have at the Chargers. Home against Chargers are 4-4. Home against the 2-7 Bears. Home against 3-5 Green Bay. At 5-4 New Orleans. At 2-7 Bears. Home against 3-5 Denver. At 5-4 Minnesota. At Dallas. And then at 5-4 Minnesota again. And this is a Minnesota team without Kirk Cousins, with Joshua Dobbs at quarterback. Hopefully Joshua Dobbs can step in and play at Kirk Cousins' level, but give him another element to where he uses his legs. And Justin Jefferson gets healthy with him and Addison and Hawkinson. Hopefully they don't miss a beat and they can give Detroit a loss, because they gonna come to our house week 17. And that's where we handle our business, taking them down. It's all about seeding, guys. All about seeding. And as good as we play at home, that number 1 coveted seed is so important. So being that we lost on Sunday, if we'd have won, we would have controlled our own destiny from here on out. If we would have just scored from the 6-yard line. But we didn't, so we need help. So, Philly's on a bye. So, of course, we're going to root for a beatdown against the Giants. And then the following week, we go to 1-win Carolina. Should be no problem there. Out of our last 11 road games, we're 6-7, so that should even us up at 7-7. Our last 12 road games after Carolina. And then on Monday night, tune in to Philly at Kansas City, because that will be a blockbuster right there. And then we'll be watching our games, but we'll be keeping eyes on other teams. Just like after San Fran blew us out, they lost 3 in a row. That was like a blessing. Now, being that Seattle just got beat down by Baltimore, San Fran has regained first place in the division, although they are tied with Seattle at 5-3. I think Seattle this season can beat them. They know them pretty well. Last year in the playoffs, they kept up with them in the first half until the second half. San Francisco put away. I think Seattle could split with them because I believe they play each other 2 out of 3 weeks. Yeah, week 12, they got the Niners at home. Seattle does. And then at our house. And then week 14 at San Fran. Just the Chargers got Lions got such an easy schedule. We are the hardest team remaining on their schedule. I'm hoping that Kellen Moore and the Chargers revitalize, and Buffalo also revitalizes, and both of those teams start to catch fire this weekend to go on their playoff run. I hope Kellen Moore drops 40 on Detroit to knock them down to 6-3. And Buffalo looks like the Buffalo last year and the year before. So by the time they play Philly, their offense and defense is looking dangerous. I don't know the status of Tre'Davious White, but I really hope that he's healthy for that Philadelphia game. He is their lockdown corner. Jordan Poyer is a good safety. You got a good defensive line at Oliver and whatnot. And we all know they have a dynamic offense. Dalton Kincaid, the first-round pick. I mean, you mix him up with Dawson Knox, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis. They can definitely carve up that Philly secondary. Now, can that Buffalo defense stop that Philly offense? That is the question to be remained. Now, the previous 2 teams that beat us, Arizona, after they beat us, they went on a long losing streak. After San Fran beat us, they haven't won a game yet. We'll see if the same lies for Philly. Because Philly's been eking out these games lately, getting by. The biggest win was against Miami by 14. Other than that, the biggest win, I believe, was by 9 against the Rams. Against the Patriots, it's a 5-point game. Against Washington, it was a 3-point game. Against Washington, I think they made it a 14-point game. Also, against us, a 5-point game. They can be had. Philadelphia can be had. They are 8-1. Yes, they've won the 8 games. It's all about getting the dub. I understand that. But they are who we thought they were. And I think after the bye week, they will get exposed. That's what I'm hoping. If they drop 2 out of that first 3 after the bye, that will be a huge blessing as long as we take care of our business. These are my percentages. To win the East, to get the 1 seed, or second best, the 2 seed. Because the 2 seed, you guaranteed 2 home playoff games as long as you win the first one. You win the first one, second game you would be playing at home too. And if the number 1 seed falls, then you'd be playing at home all postseason. Percentages to win the East. If we'd have beat Philly, I'd have said 70%. Being that we didn't beat the Eagles, my prediction to win the NFC East drops down to a 37.5%. A little more than half the 70. The number 1 seed, to me, drops to 20%. And the number 2 seed, 30%. Now, that can all very much change in the next few weeks if we handle our 4-game stretch against the Giants, Panthers, Washington, and Seattle. If we handle all 4 of them, and our NFC foes lose a few, then those percentages will change, of course. And I'm very confident that when Philly comes into Dallas, that we'll get that W. We play very good at home. We should have beat them at their house, but that's ancient history. 5-3, don't sound near as good, but 9-3 sounds pretty good after 12. So 1 game at a time. And we'll get the 10 days to prepare for Philly. That is a key thing. We'll be playing at home against Washington on Thanksgiving. And then playing at home against Seattle the following Thursday. And then we'll still be staying at home for 10 days preparing for Philly to come to our house before we do our 3 out of 4 road games at the end of the season. Last road game is at Washington. Could have implications, could not. We're hoping it does. If Week 18 has implications, meaning you beat Washington and you clinch the division, that'd be humongous. Even if it means you beat Washington, you clinch the division, but you might not get the number 1 seed. Still huge. You still want to clinch the East. You want to get that home playoff game. And you possibly want to get that 2 seed. If the 1 seed is taken by San Fran. Because y'all end up with the same record, but they got the head-to-head tiebreaker. But, let's root for some Philly losses. Root for some Detroit losses. Let's root for, all across the board. San Fran, Philly, Seattle, and Detroit. Losses for all 4 guys. All 4 teams. And us handle our business down the stretch. 12-5 might not be good enough to get it done, even if Philly drops 2 of the next 3. That'll make them 9-3. And then if we beat them, that make it 9-4. But if we finish 12-5, and so do they, then most likely that'll only be 2 conference losses, unless they drop 1 against Seattle. But we've already got 3 conference losses. We cannot lose against another NFC team again. If we have another loss, it has to be against Buffalo or Miami. Has to be. If we have another loss. We've already played 3 out of our 5 AFC teams. And beat them all, Jets, Pats, and Chargers. So the only AFC teams left for us is Buffalo and Miami. If you're going to lose any games in the season, you want to lose against the opposite conference. Because that helps you tiebreaker. But I predict we still finish. I predicted 14-3 before the season. But we already got 3 losses. So for us to run the table and win the next 9 in a row, kind of far-fetched. So 12-5, very, 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 very doable. 13-4 would be more preferable. If we go 13-4 and lose just one more game down the stretch, and this cat Martavius Bryant, who hasn't played since 2018, 6'4", 210, runs a 4.40 still, can come in and actually make a difference on this offense. Like make a difference. Not as big as an Amari Cooper difference, but make a difference. In the red zone, on 3rd and 4th downs, if you can moss people, because he has a high 40-inch vertical, he's 6'4". If you can just toss the ball up to the guy, especially on one-on-one coverage, and he's the Des Bryant type guy that can just go up and come down with it, man, that's the guy we've been missing. That's the DeAndre Hopkins type guy with the big catch radius. The Des Bryant that we used to have where in the red zone, You just throw it up to him, he goes up and gets it. If Martavius Bryant, who if he did not look good in the workout, we wouldn't have signed him. We're going to sign him to the active roster in the next few days. Being that Michael Gallup has been less than impressive, that'd be super huge. Brandon Cooks, I don't understand. They're not utilizing him right. He's got 5,000-yard receivers. He's got 5,000-yard seasons with 5 different quarterbacks, 4 different teams. What's the deal here? CeeDee Lamb's last 3 games, his last 3 games, his yardage is like 436 yards last 3 games. That's more than Gallup and Cooks combined for the season. Brandon Cooks is a baller, guys. Mike McCarthy and Brian Shoddy need to figure out how to get him involved and start to feed Ferguson. These next 3 games against Giants, Carolina, Washington, feed Ferguson. Start getting him involved. Start making him the number 1 tight end. Start making him your second or third option. He is Travis Kelce Jr. This kid has potential out the wazoo, and he is showing it. But you got to feed him the football. That's it for this episode, guys. I'm just looking at, the chances of us seeding in the playoffs, what needs to happen, what we hope will happen, chances of it happening. God comes first and foremost, even before this. Seek him and his righteousness, and all these other things will be added unto you. I'm a living testimony of that. Y'all keep it cool, calm, guys. Please subscribe, like, and share. I cannot implore that enough. If you watch all the way to the end, you're a real one. 32-minute video. It is Wednesday. I will catch y'all Friday for the pregame show against the Giants, and we'll also touch on the San Fran Jags game and the Lions game. I forget who they play in Seattle. We'll touch on San Fran at Jacksonville, Seattle at Washington, and Lions at Chargers. Washington now without his 2 best edge rushers. Chase Young had 5 sacks so far this season. Now he's a Niner. So they got Randy Gregory and Chase Young with Nick Bosa. Scary front, guys. But did y'all notice Tyron Smith against Philadelphia? Did he not look like 2014 Tyron Smith? Pass blocking. I mean, he allowed 1 pressure. Josh Sweat trying to go up against him. Several times I saw Tyron just knock him down on his ass like a big bully on a playground and just stand over him. Until late in the game, Josh Sweat said, "Hey, I want to try tearing Steele out. Everybody's been eating on that side. Let me get on that side." It makes a game-clinching sack, basically. Terrence Steele needs to get right fast because he is the weak link on this line. Man, Hassan Reddick, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, all of them ate against him. But Tyron was solid. I don't know if we got to put Chuma on the right side. If he could pass block any better, it might not be a bad idea to try out, because right now, the way Terrence Steele looked against Philly, can't get any worse. I mean, that was like Chaz Green type play, almost. I mean, it was bad. All right, guys, that's it for this episode. Catch y'all later. Catch y'all Friday. Charles and Charges out.